Welcome back to Dallas, Texas. Texas will bat here in the bottom of the first inning as we get started early. Nevada was scoreless at the top of the first. Let's look at this Texas lineup brought to you by Axe. Tobin, Ellis, Scott, Craig, Billings, Castaneda, Baker, Rockmore, and Crisp. It's a potent order. And it's a lineup that will take its cuts against Bryce McKnight.
Again, you talk about maybe not the most important thing in these situations is the velocity, but he'll sit around 88 miles an hour, multiple pitches that he feels like he can throw for strikes. It's a big game for Nevada. You talk about, hey, the last game is done and over. We got to wash that out of our mouths and get ready for a really good Texas team, and they're leaning on McKnight to give him a solid start.
Let's see what McKnight does. He comes over the top and he finds the strike zone to Nathan Tobin. Nevada, if you will, had bad luck on the draw. Every one of these teams has to play a doubleheader at some point to get to the semifinals on Thursday and the championship game on Friday night. And maybe Nevada with a little bit of bad luck in the draw, having to play back-to-back to open things. So we'll see. They can win this game. They're really, really in good shape for the rest of the week.
Yeah, unfortunate too, just because of the hottest week of the year here in the state of Texas and having to do it in the hottest part of the day.
Swing and a miss. Nathan Tobin can't find it as McKnight picks up his first strikeout.
That was a good-looking breaking ball. It might have even been the changeup there, but you saw the off-speed. Another look at it here, just falls right over the underneath the bat of Nathan Tobin, who's a really talented hitter in the leadoff spot.
You spoke about the weather. It's supposed to get to 105 today with a heat index of up in the 100 and mid-teens. And then 107, the expected forecast for tomorrow. So certainly hydration will be very important. Let me tell you how hot and dry it is in Texas right now. If one of the many cows in the pastures around here fell over dead, it would be beef jerky before it hit the ground.
I believe it. I believe it. I'm born and raised in this part of Texas, and it still shocks me every single time that this type of triple-digit heat hits us when it's this oppressive. I made the terrible mistake of playing golf yesterday in the heat of the day, and I can tell you hydration is key.
Let's see what Hudson Ellis can do, the shortstop. That pitch skips in. 2 more games will follow tonight on ESPN+. Scheduled to start at 4 and 7. Texas trying to break through in the first inning, looking for base runners.
I really like that 3-1 pitch. Shows that McKnight, a lot of confidence in the off speed that you're able to throw that at 3-1 with 1 out. I wanted to put a guy on base, but you feel like you're going to get Ellis to swing at that changeup, and he did, and he just tapped it foul.
Let's hit right back to the mound on a hop. McKnight will run halfway to the bag and make the underhanded throw for the out.
That's an impressive way to battle back. You get down 3-1 to a hitter like Ellis, and you're able to go back-to-back off speed to get the soft contact and give yourself a chance at a 1-2-3 inning.
Now it's Matt Scott, the right fielder. Texas in the Longhorn orange. McKnight working pretty quickly in this heat. That one gets away from him and stays inside. Tobin struck out. Ellis hit a comebacker. 2 gone, bases empty. Nevada failed to get a base runner in the first inning itself. There's nothing that these teams would like better to have a pitcher who is on his game in this heat and get his team back to the dugout. The relative comfort and coolness of the dugout as early as possible. Let's see who's going to take charge here. The center fielder's coming on. He's got time, and he has got it. So Festa making the catch out of center field. 3 up, 3 down. They go to the second. We are scoreless. Nevada and Texas. Admittedly, we're still in the early innings, but starting pitching has been very sharp so far as Nevada playing its 2nd consecutive game today. And Texas are scoreless. Texas will come to the plate in the bottom of the second inning in the Geico Series National High School Baseball Championship.
See Bryce McKnight there, the 1-2-3 first inning. You don't think he's a confident kid? I love these questionnaires that they fill out. Who's his favorite baseball player? He says, well, I am. And who does he look up to in terms of a role model? He says, well, myself. So those are some confident words from a young man in Bryce McKnight. In the 14-pitch first inning, he backed it up.
McKnight starts Trey Craig with a high breaking pitch. Craig is a big target, isn't he? This guy is powerful battering from the right side.
Yeah, Steve Stone said that he is a bomber, and 6'4", that is a massive frame. Committed to play at Texas A&M.
McKnight pours in a strike that levels the count. Billings and Castaneda will follow. Ground ball hit up the middle with some gusto. It's on into center field. Trey Craig just muscled that one. This is artificial surface, of course, but if it were not, that would have been about a 7 worm burner.
You can see him just a little bit out in front, and able to get that ball, and just so powerful, even when maybe you hit the baseball, you get enough to get it past the dive of Matt Akariski, who's a really good shortstop there up the middle.
So that's the first base runner as Craig is aboard on a ground ball up the middle, and here is Luke Billings. Billings crowds the plate, bats from the right side. He's almost even with the dish. And McKnight starts him with a strike.
It's interesting, too, looking at this Texas roster. It is Dallas-Fort Worth, and 12 of the 17 come from DFW or the surrounding areas. And I don't think it's a coincidence for Steve Stone. He's coached at Hebron. In fact, he just announced his retirement after 24 years, but the DFW area has won the last 5 6A titles in the state of Texas.
Stone is the Texas State coordinator for the tournament and has quite the reputation, does he not?
He does, yeah. 24 years at Hebron. He's the only head baseball coach they'd ever had, but he announced his retirement at the end of the season and said he didn't want it to be a distraction for his players. And he knows this ballpark really well. His son, Travis Stone, pitched at DBU and is now an assistant coach. You see Steve Stone right there. Normally when he's in this ballpark, he's chasing his granddaughter around.
The runner is on the move. This is lashed into left field, and it is a foul ball.
Not by much. That ball hit really well, and even just about maybe 6 inches to a foot to the left of that foul line might have gotten the scoring started.
Craig was on the move with the pitch, and I think he would have definitely scored had that ball hit the stripe or been to the right of it. So Billings will return to the plate after lacing one, but fouled.
And now you start guessing here. If your Billings down 1-2, that off speed has been the favorite thus far of McKnight, and that might be what he goes to here. Ground ball or strikeout would be huge. That'll work.
A big swing and a miss. Billings, after flirting with success offensively, cannot find it. He goes down on strikes, and this brings on Isaiah Castaneda. Let's take another look at this one. Big stride and a really nice bend.
Yeah, good look at curveball. I believe that might be the first time we had seen that. Generally, it had been the changeup that has been his go-to off speed.
1-0 on Castaneda with a runner at first.
You talk about the commits to Division I schools. Castaneda, really one of the only ones on this Texas roster as well that hasn't made the commitment. No doubt he's going to go somewhere. Impressive career that he has had thus far.
Big lead at first base, but no movement from down there. Castaneda, should he get aboard, will be followed by Zane Becker. Becker, runner moving this time. It's lifted very high in the air. Let's see who can get to it. And the center fielder finally comes on. That was Evan Festa That looked like a potential collision between three players, but Festa able to take charge, and his teammates peeled away at the last moment.
Yeah, right there to that Bermuda Triangle, and generally you want your center fielder to take charge, and that's exactly what Festa was able to do. Something else to consider there was Craig on the move when he stopped at second, nearly turned his ankle. It took him a second to get up and get back to first base. Potentially that could have been a double play.
He was fortunate that he was able to return to an upright position and get back. But he was able to return with 2 outs, and now it's Becker. Becker hits this one very high and deep. Festa backing up, tracking it. He's got it near the warning track in deep center field. Festa coming to the infield to make a play and then retreating at full gallop to make another one. We remain scoreless as we go to the third. All 8 of these teams come with no expenses whatsoever. This is a remarkable tournament. It's been in the development stages now for 4 or 5 years as it continues to grow and grow and grow. Probably was a thought of Glenn Estopanol 10, 12, 15 years ago, and something of this nature to come together with ESPN Plus national television coverage, national sponsors with Geico and Axe and others. It's just been a remarkable journey with more to come, but nothing like it in the country at all. There's a Little League World Series. There's obviously a College World Series. There's a Major League Baseball World Series. Why not a high school championship national World Series? That was the dream of Glenn Estopanol several years ago, and it's starting to come into powerful fruition. It's been remarkable.
You know, the thing that I love is summer baseball. There's a ground ball out to second, should be the easy first out of the inning as Rockmore grounds out. But what I love, summer baseball, and probably rightfully so, becomes a showcase for a lot of these guys as they're showcasing their talent to try and get to that next level and play college baseball. A lot of these guys have already made that decision, and you see more true baseball. They're playing to win this tournament, and that's what makes this. Craig out of Pantego Christian, which is probably about 20 minutes here from this ballpark. And he's a guy that you got to be really dangerous. He can plug a gap just about as good as anybody on this Texas roster.
Craig waiting, chokes up an inch or so, and a really nicely delivered pitch gets in under the hands of Craig on the inside edge. So a big strikeout